We'd like to welcome each and every individual to leverage the magical arts of positive, we want to emphasize positive, motivation and manipulation. And today we have Tom Kuntz, a good friend and co-author, and Tom and I have traveled all around the country, just so many stories. But I want to give Tom as much of this 7 minutes as possible to have Tom tell his story. Because it's an amazing story. And so what you're going to find as you go through this journey together of leverage, the magical arts of positive motivation and manipulation, this journey, I believe, is going to transform your life, your business, personally, professionally. You're going to think differently. And so let's dive right in. Tom, share your story if you could, and you can start, if you'd like to, as a young boy, with your dad teaching you how to go ahead and treat customers and look at things from a customer perspective. So you could start there, or you could start anywhere you like.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and it's a pleasure to be with you again and having some conversation. But yeah, I started very young, as I'm sure maybe a lot of your folks listening to this probably have. My dad owned service stations, and I would go down when I was 5 years old and kind of help line up things. And as I grew older, as you know, service stations were on corners with a lot of blacktop. And so one of my jobs was to clean the blacktop, wash it down, as he would say. And he was a clean freak, and I remember spending a lot of time one time washing it down. He came out, I was very proud of it, and he walked me out in the street, and he said, "Turn around and take a look and tell me what you see." And I had washed all of the dirt from the blacktop into the gutter in front of the business. And I turned around and said, "I see the dirt." And he goes, "You're right. You're not looking at it through the eyes of the consumer. You spent all that time, but when somebody drives in here to get gas, the first thing they're going to see is the dirt in the gutter." And I've never forgot that process, all the way through from then to starting and owning a couple of small companies, an employment agency, a computer company that it actually was a programmable calculator. We call it a computer. Sold that business to TRW. We developed a national MLS system for the real estate industry. Because of some reports and fears, which I also learned in that position, that once you commit to something, you have to move forward. But the general manager of that division decided that he didn't want his credit division to be blackballed. So even though we'd spent millions of dollars developing this outstanding program, which, and this is in the late 70s, would still be valuable today, I joined the Century 21 system as a manager. 30 years later, I left as president and CEO worldwide. When I left, we had 8,800 offices, 140,000 agents in 78 countries. 3 years or 4 years as part of that 30, I also helped develop and then ended up buying into one of the Century 21 companies' franchises that we took to #1 in the world for them. Thought I wanted to retire, left in 2010, decided that wasn't for me. Was contacted by a company that I was familiar with in Europe. It was a luxury real estate franchise group out of Hamburg, Germany, Engel and Bokers. Asked me if I would come to work for them. And so for the last almost 7 years now, I've been working with them as the executive vice president. And the reason I came back was basically my why. And that was having spent so much time in the real estate business and the real estate industry in various different levels, I just couldn't understand why agents were not productive. And it didn't make any sense to me why real estate offices didn't make profits. And so the main reason I came back was to see if I could make it. I couldn't make a difference in the whole industry, but maybe I could make a difference in this company. And so my focus here is developing accountability systems, coaching systems for our licensed partners, our franchisees. and coaching systems for them to use with their advisors, their agents, to get them profitable and productive and be able to take home a great living for their families. And so that's where the journey's at. Where the next chapter is, I don't know. I'm 70 years old, but I'm surely not anywhere near ready to quit. So I look forward to the next challenge.
Nice. So, Tom, the Leverage Project, you and I have done many different courses together, and the leverage is really originated coming out of sales and presenting solutions in an amazing way that helps us to be more effective. But it's really expanded into helping every C-level person in any company, any industry, anywhere in the world to learn how to leverage properly. And then every HR director and every employee and the whole team to be able to leverage one another. Why do you think the Leverage Project is so valuable where every single person in the company ought to go through it?
Well, I think it's all really kind of says it in the name. Business is about leveraging, the assets that a company has. And there's no greater asset that any company has than the people who work for it. Doesn't matter if you're the last person that's been hired or the president, CEO, chairman of the board. You're, as people, you're the most important asset to the company, and to be able to leverage the highest and best use of each one of the employees that you have in your company, there can be no better use of any CEO time than to understand how to make that happen. And I think if they spend some time to look at what the Leverage program offers, there's a number of programs inside of it which I think are some of the most innovative and forward-thinking applications for a business that I've ever seen. I've worked with Mark for many, many years. I use some of those same things in the things that I do right now. And every time I bring up, for instance, the 530 grit, when I bring up even just the 5 points of that in the meetings I have with our franchisees, you can see the lights start to go off. How inventive is that in our industry to understand how those 5 things work? So I would hope anybody who has the opportunity would leverage themselves into this application and start to understand how they can start to really take their assets, their greatest asset, their employees, and leverage them to increase their market share and profits.
Nice. All right, we're going to go ahead and next interview Peter and get a little bit of background about Peter. And so you definitely want to do that. And then come back after that interview, and we're going to have some discussion with all 3 of us that I think is going to be really exciting, where you're going to get motivated and inspired about Leverage, the course, and everything that's going together. So here we go.